Hello everyone, welcome back to our Bootstrap classes. In the last class, we saw content and content related topics, and I believe you have practiced and made use of yesterday where we didn't take any new classes. So today we are going to explore one of the important and most used sections or feature of Bootstrap, that is components. As I said in the previous session, components is nothing new. It's a combination of both the content and the layout. Okay. To do that, to explore that, let us go to Bootstrap's documentation. As I said earlier, if you click on Get Started, it will take you to the documentation of Bootstrap 5. And if you click on this one, version 4.6x, then it will take you to uh, documentation of 4x version. And in left side you can see a section called the components. You just click on both documentation and you can see so many subtopics inside that. So in Bootstrap 4 it has components like alerts, badges, breadcrumb, button group, card, carousel, collapse, drop downs, forms, input groups, and drop so many components are available. Likewise in 5, some set of components are available. uh, there are few new components that are introduced in Bootstrap 5. The first and primary thing is accordion, which was not available in Bootstrap 4. Even though you can achieve this functionality, even though you can achieve accordion's functionality in Bootstrap in some other way, they have added accordion as a separate component in Bootstrap 5. If it is confusing for you, and definitely it will be confusing for you because you don't know what is accordion. So for now you can skip this component. For now you can skip this component accordion, since it is not available in Bootstrap 4 and it is new feature in Bootstrap 5. You can explore this component as last one after practicing all other components, all other important components we can say. And then it starts with alert is the basic component that Bootstrap gives as the first one. Alert is used when you want to give some notification to the user. Okay, alert component can be used when you want to give some notification or some information to the user. When we will give some this kind of information, we will give this when we are submitting some forms. When the user submits the form, then we will show some error message, means what are all the mistakes that they did in the form, or some success message after submitting the form successfully with valid data. So those kind of information you can show by using the alert component. So why we need to use this? Because these are all the standard way to show some data, and only thing that you need to do is just follow this. You just need to have a div and you need to apply these class names, so it will automatically apply this CSS. And if you want to make some changes in this color, for example they have used some red color, but you want to make some changes in this red color based on your theme, then you can very well do. But what you should not do is using a danger alert to show success message. Okay, so it should be a meaningful convention. And let us go through one by one. Let us go through components one by one, and then we can practice in the upcoming session. Or if we get time today, we can practice this session components one by one. Or as usual, we can have one example, or we can have one inspiration design, and we can develop that from scratch. The next one is badge. Badge component can be used when you want to show some title, some text, uh, like a button, but it is not a button. Okay, it is not a clickable button, but you want to highlight one particular heading or one particular text by some label kind of word. You can see it in anonymity website. When someone have when anonymity has launched a new uh, update, for example result or something, then they will have some marker in the right edge, right? So those kind of information can be achieved using badges. Let me go to anonymity website, but they haven't used Bootstrap. So why I am saying is this is a website that you usually see. So here they have highlighted the second section alone by using new. So what are all the topics that is new to this website? They highlighted using new. So instead of using this kind of design, you can simply use Bootstrap badges. How you are going to do? Simple. You will just type the text inside a span tag and you will apply the class name. That's it. And there are so many type of badges available. You just need to give badge hyphen primary or badge hyphen secondary. If you give primary, then you will get blue color, since Bootstrap's primary color is blue. And this is another kind of badge which explains all available colors. If you want this kind of blue color, blue means the primary color that you use in your web page. You can change it in your CSS. I will explain when we develop that page. But by default, Bootstrap's primary color is blue color, which means all buttons will be in blue color, and its secondary color is this ash color, and success message it should be green, and a danger message it should be red, warning it should be in yellow, and info, these three info we rarely use, so you don't need to worry much about it. And light and dark is also we don't use much unless we develop some themes which has multiple color options. So pill badges means it will have rounded shapes, and then links. A badge which is also a link, a badge which is also a link. Simple. You have to replace span tag with a tag. You have to use a tag and give your link, so it will look like a button. It's just a badge, but there is another component called button, but that will be little bigger. If you want a big button like this, I hope you can see this download button. If you want some big buttons like this, then you won't use badges component. If you want a very small buttons, where we will use this kind of small buttons, you will use this kind of small buttons uh, when the buttons are not that much important. You can remember Facebook website now. You open it. Here, the login and create account. These are primary buttons, so you should not use badges to achieve these kind of links. But in bottom, there are some links like Tamil and other languages are there. So if you want to highlight these things beyond, apart from giving these things as just links, if you want to give some button kind of design, then you can use badges. And to add one more point here, I have never ever used badges for links so far. Next one is breadcrumb. Breadcrumb is a component that we need. Just a minute. So breadcrumb is a component which we will use primarily in big websites. Big websites means a website which has more pages. Those kind of websites will have breadcrumb. To explain this better, let me open some shopping sites. Amazon. Let me go to some product. Open this. So I have come a long way, right? So I have come a long way. So I need to give some information to the user, like where I am in. So to do that, a web page will have breadcrumb. In this website, how they have shown website, how they have shown breadcrumb. I don't think Amazon has a good breadcrumb. So let us go to some other website. Cart. Cart is very well known for its breadcrumb. You can see this. You are in a page which is inside storage, and the storage is inside computers, and computer is inside home. So if you want to represent these kind of links, so that the user will know where he is. If you want to show these kind of links, then you have to use breadcrumb. It's surprising for me to see Amazon doesn't have breadcrumb in their website, but their concept is a little different. Instead of showing breadcrumb, they have shown the related links. So they assume that the user will not need a breadcrumb, but they will simply use this search to get the preferred result. That is what the strategy of Amazon. The Amazon, according to Amazon, they don't need breadcrumb. Instead, they will use this search box. This user will simply use search box. So the uh, breadcrumb is not mandatory. That is what the thought process of Amazon's designer. But when it comes to Flipkart, they want to show the user where the user is. So if you go to any page, if I am in this page, then I will show Flipkart will show me from where I have come. I am from home, computers, storage, internal hard drive, and every links. Okay, so they have given all the path. So this is what called as breadcrumb. So if you want to achieve these kind of things, then you have to use the component called breadcrumb, but the design is little different. Here they have given some background color, and the font size is very big, and it has been separated with slash. But in Flipkart's website, the font size is very small, and they have separated using arrow key, arrow symbol. So these kind of things are called as design changes. So the designer will slightly change the design of Bootstrap. So you should be able to use this component. You should be able to use this component and change the design based on your need. Okay, you should be able to use this component and change the design based on the need. What is the need? Something that the designer has given you. Okay, we will do this when we practice that. But what you need to know now, or what you need to practice now, is we should copy the code from here and put it in a page, practice page, and see how it looks like, and change the li's value, add more li, and see whether it renders properly. That is the thing that you need to practice now, and we will do one project using Bootstrap. In that, we will use Bootstrap and change the theme based on our need. Next to breadcrumb, we have buttons. Button, it's pretty straightforward. A web page should have buttons because a user has to click some um, form or link, then only the website's goal will be accomplished. What should be the goal of a web page? A website's goal will be to make the user to do something. Okay. A website's goal will be to make the user to do something, and the something will differ from one website to another website. According to Facebook, its goal is to make the user to create account and post information and react for available information. Facebook's goal is to create to make a user to create an account. Okay, let me go to Facebook. It will make me to create an account. For that I need this button, create new account, and then once I have created, I will need this login form to log into it, and then once I have logged in, it will expect me to post content. It will have a button called post, and then it will expect me to react for available content, which means like and comments. So these are all the goals of Facebook, not mine. It's not my goal to create account, it's Facebook's goal to make me to create account. Okay. And if you go to a shopping site, its aim will not be uh, creating account, but it will be to make you to purchase a product. So they will highlight these buttons bigger. This is what we call as call to action buttons, CTA buttons. If you have time, you can go to Google and say search for CTA, and you will see so many things. Call to action you will learn. It's a big topic, but for a developer, for a front-end developer, it's just a button, that's it. But you should know what is CTA. CTA will be the primary button of a web page. But coming back to our topic, buttons is a component in Bootstrap that helps us to achieve these kind of buttons. And you can change the size and look and feel. If you want just the outline alone, then you just need to give a class name called button outline primary. And if you want large button, then you have to give a class name called btn-lg. And for small button, you have to give a class name called btn-sm. And if you want a button which occupies full width of its parent tag, then you have to give btn-block. Then if you want to have a disabled button, which means a button which cannot be clicked at one state, so you just need to give an attribute called disabled. And you may ask a question, why we need to have a button which is disabled? uh, it depends on users interaction. You consider okay, we have it in Facebook itself. Now I haven't typed anything, so I cannot click on this post, because to click on this post there should be some content. So if I type something, then it will be enabled. So we will do this through JavaScript, but by default we would have disabled this button. If you want to achieve this kind of requirement, then you can use this attribute. So through JavaScript you will be disabling, you will be removing this attribute when a user gives some data in a field. Same like for a tag also, you can disable one link by using a class name called disabled, and you have to add these attributes: tab index -1 and area disabled equal true. So to disable one link, to disable one a tag, you have to add a class name called disabled. But to disable a button, you have to add an attribute called disabled. Just like that, there are so many options available. You can go through one by one. And then button group, I would say it is not necessary to explore button group now. It is a collection of buttons. When you want to show a group of buttons, then you will use it. But in real time the usage of button group is very less. So let's move on to the next topic, that is card. Card is one of the important component. We will definitely use it in projects. By seeing this, you can relate this with a project that you have developed already. A card will have an image, a title, a paragraph, and a link. A card will have an image, a title, a paragraph, and a link, but it is not mandatory to have all elements. Sometimes a card will have only title and paragraph. Sometimes a card will have image and paragraph and button, but combination of all these four. If you want to develop, if you want to show this kind of information, then you can use cards. So go back to your reference website and relate this component with your web page. For example, there was a section called services. Inside that, we were listing some data four times, which means we have four cards. We have four cards, similar cards. Likewise, you have to build a web page, and a card will have two things. One is image. For image, you need to have a class name called card image top, so that it will occupy full width. If you don't want image, then you can simply remove this tag, and a card will have body, card body, and a card body will have a card title and card text, then a link. Okay. You just need to copy it and paste it in your page. You will get this output. And best thing that you can do is develop a page which has four column. Okay, develop a row which has four column, and inside each column just put this card. Okay, you have to replace this triple dot with some image path. You need to have some images in your web page, and you have to add it and then try it. And if suppose the image width is bigger than the columns width, then you have to add a class name called um, image fluid, img fluid or image fluid, or you have to apply max width 100% for your image. So I'm just explaining through words. So I believe you can follow my words and practice it in your machine. This is another card which doesn't have a title tag, image tag, but it has a subtitle. A card can have a subtitle as well. So why we have this card title, card subtitle? Because Bootstrap assumes that these are all the possible elements that a web page can have. So they have some decent styles for each sections. So you can explore all items here, and then we can move on to the next topic, that is carousel. Carousel, it is a component that we use when we have to show more content in small area. In interview, the interviewer may ask you why we need to use carousel. A carousel is used to show more content in small area. For example, let us go to Flipkart's website. In this page, they need the entire screen to show 8 products. See, they need the entire screen to show 8 products. Screenshot. So in the entire screen, this 4 plus 4, 8 products. So these 8 products have occupied the entire width. Since it is the product listing page, it is okay for the Flipkart to occupy more space. But if you come to home page of Flipkart, they want to shows so many content. See this: one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we click on this, next set is coming. Likewise, if they want to add more content, then they will simply add more data, and they will keep the arrow key here within this space. In this space, they could show so many content in the web page. And just by using the arrow key, they can add up to 100 images. Even they can exceed beyond that as well, but it will cause loading issues. It will take more issue, but let us don't focus on it. Just by using arrow keys on left and right side, the developer can show more data in a single column, in a single row. You can say, like, in a single row they can add more data and it won't come to the next line. If you want to achieve these kind of things, then you need to use a component called carousel. See this, this is a full width carousel, which means it will occupy the entire width. We will use this in our banner section of the web page, and there are so many features available. You can have your navigation link. For that, you just need to copy the code from here and explore every single line available in this. And you can have title and description for each slide. To accomplish this, you don't need to know even a single line of JavaScript. You just need to copy the code from here and put it in your page. It will work perfectly. So to get this kind of output, you will use carousel component. Like this, there are so many components. I think I took almost 30 minutes here. I can go through one by one. And collapse is a tool that helps you to show and hide content. Okay, collapse is a component that helps you to show and hide a content. So here they will connect this a tag with this div. They connect this a tag. The a tag is linked with the href, and this div is this box. So when a user clicks on it, they will show or hide it. How they have linked these two things? By using id value collapse example. Href value is collapse example, and data toggle collapse, and you have to add other attributes. Okay, and in Bootstrap you will see a word called area. Area means a special case which is used to make the web page user friendly for um, color blind peoples. You can go google it, explore more. It is mainly used for web accessibility. If it is confusing for you, then you can drop it for now, but it is always good to know what is web accessibility or area. So whenever you see explore Bootstrap's component, you will see these kind of words. So just keep it in mind. There is something called web accessibility, and in some projects they may expect you to follow these standards, but it's not mandatory for now. When you develop web pages or applications for countries like US or Europe, then it is mandatory, because a person who couldn't access a web page, a person who couldn't access a company's website using keyboard can raise a complaint against that company. Okay, let me repeat. If you cannot access Flipkart using your keyboard, then you have rights to put a case against Flipkart in court. This is not in India, this is in US. So they will give more importance for usability. So if you develop a web page, then it should be usable through keyboard. So if it is part of your requirement, then you need to follow these standards. So keep it in mind. And you can see this accordion. We saw this word somewhere. It is in Bootstrap. The first component is accordion, but in Bootstrap 4, they use collapse to achieve accordion. Accordion is simple. When you click on a title, its content will be shown and its relative other content will be hidden. And if you want to change the mode, like when a user clicks on each tag, you have to open its relative div. You can do that. This is called accordion. In Bootstrap 4, they brought this as part of collapse, but accordion is a standard word that we use it in website. We use it in all web applications. So they brought this accordion as a separate component in Bootstrap 5. Okay, with this, we can wind up today's session. Practice all components, and if you get time, explore others as well. I thought of covering more components in one class, but it is taking more time. It's okay. Let's take few more classes to explore as many components as possible, and then let us do one project from scratch. Thank you.